In the eastern stretches of America, there once lay a village named Draven Hollow, where bravery was valued above life itself. The people believed fear was a curse and courage the purest blessing. So, when a child was born, the first test was not of life or health, but of valor. At the heart of Draven Hollow stood an old stone castle, its windows dark and hollow. Every newborn was taken there and left alone through the night. If the child stayed silent, they were declared brave and welcomed as true children of the village. But if the baby cried, as most helpless infants would, the parents were ridiculed and banished beyond the borders, carrying their shame with them. One stormy night, a boy named Kale was born. Like any baby, Kale cried when placed in the cold and shadow of the castle. By dawn, his parents were spat upon and driven from the village, exiled to the wild forests. They wept not for the exile, but for the cruelty of a tradition that punished innocence. Years passed, and Kale grew tall and strong. He learned to wield a sword from fallen soldiers who had wandered the woods, and to master the bow from hunters who pitted the exiles. But more than weapons, Kale carried a fire within him, a deep hatred for the superstition that had cast his family away. One evening, as the embers of their campfire glowed, Kale's parents told him the truth of his birth. They told him of the mocking voices, the jeers, the shame, and the exile forced upon them because of a baby's cry. Kale clenched his fists. So they call themselves brave? Leaving helpless children in the dark? That is not bravery. That is cruelty dressed as honor. Their throne stands on fear, not courage. And I will tear it down. Kale gathered others who had shared the same fate. Youths who had been branded weak before they could even walk. Some had grown into fierce hunters, others into skilled healers, and some into strategists hardened by years of survival outside the village walls. Together, they formed a brotherhood of the wronged. They marched back to Draven Hollow. The villagers watched in shock as the exiles, long thought broken, entered through the gates. Kale's voice thundered through the square. You call yourselves brave, yet you banished infants and mothers. You call yourselves fearless, yet you tremble at a child's cry. True bravery is not born in darkness. It is forged in the trials of life. The so-called brave warriors of Draven Hollow scoffed, but when Kale and his companions clashed with them, their hollow courage crumbled. Steel rang against steel, and the youth who had known pain and exile proved stronger than men who had never faced true struggle. At last, Kale stormed the castle and struck down the king, a man whose crown was heavy with cruelty. Standing before the people, Kale raised his blade. From this day, no child shall be tested in darkness. No family shall be mocked for tears, and those cast away shall return. The gates were opened wide, and the exiles came back, mothers, fathers, children who had longed for their homeland. Kale's parents, trembling with joy, stepped into the village once more, their son now crowned as king. Draven Hollow was no longer a land that worshipped false bravery. It became a land that honored true courage, not the silence of infants, but the strength to stand against cruelty, even when the whole world believed in it. And thus, Kale's reign began. The reign of a warrior who proved that tears did not mean weakness, but that injustice demanded defiance.